Hello all, this is Halloween, and if you love cemeteries and haunted history as much as I do, you may want to subscribe because I'm going to be taking you somewhere new every week. It's the day after Thanksgiving, and today we're headed to Bronson, Florida to visit the final resting place of blues rock legend and pioneer Bo Diddley. We'll also be going to the Sweetwater Branch Inn, a known haunted location in Ganesville, Florida. And of course, we'll stop and grab a bite to eat. Enjoy! We've arrived at Sister's Place in Williston, Florida. Gonna go in and get a bite to eat. This place is so cute. It's like a little house. It's just very quaint and inviting, really cute, primitive decor, and I'm excited to try the food. Check it out.
One side, fried chicken, and this.
Can I get a drink?
Water for you, please.
Yeah, water's good.
Who am I getting at?
Food has arrived, and the moment of truth. The fried okra looks awesome. It's really good. Lightly breaded. And I got the Southwest chicken wrap. You can't go wrong with Southwest chicken wrap. Not sure it goes with okra, but I'm a huge okra fan, so I went ahead and got the okra. It's kind of loosely wrapped, so it's hard to pick up. It's very loosely wrapped. And everything's falling out when I try to get it. So, there you have it. Could have done a better job with the wrapping.
My Reuben kid's butt.
Yeah. Anyway, so when I told the owner, he goes,
Being a chef myself, I'm a bit of a critic. This is not awesome. It doesn't taste very Southwest. It's more like just grilled chicken, grilled onions, and just lettuce and tomato, and not a lot of flavor. There's like a ranch dressing to dip it in. I'm probably going to use that. My husband's dish, he said that was really good. He got the Reuben and the potato salad. So, I just didn't get the best thing on the menu, but it's a cute place and it's worth a stop in. It did get like a 4.5-star review, so, and it's open for breakfast and lunch from like 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. daily. See you soon at the cemetery. We've arrived in Bronson, Florida. We're at the Bronson Cemetery where Bo Diddley's buried. And I don't know a lot about this cemetery, but for such a famous person to be laid to rest here, it's shocking to me. They don't even have like a big Bronson Cemetery sign or anything. It's quite a small and modest cemetery for such a big celebrity to be laid to rest here. This is it. This is the main attraction. You can see it right from the road. The road is here, so even if you didn't want to stop in, just passing by, you could see where he's laid to rest. it's a pretty awesome memorial, so let's check it out. Here it is. If you are a blues fan, you certainly know about Bo Diddley. It says, "The mighty Bo Diddley, I'm a man. Wow, I'm going to heaven," were actually his last words. I was reading about that. Otha Bates was his real name originally. He dropped the Otho and kept the Bates and was Ellis Bates McDaniel as his real name. He never did like that middle name, so he went ahead and dropped it at some point in his lifetime. He actually passed away June 2nd, 2008 at his home here in Florida. He was surrounded by loved ones, friends, family, and his closest bandmates when he did pass away. And as he was starting to fade, a song was sang to him by one of his family members in attendance. And it was 1:45 in the morning. He was starting to slip away, and they sang a song called "Walk Around Heaven." At which point, after the song ended, Bo Diddley held up his thumb, like a thumbs up, and he said these words, "Wow, I'm going to heaven." And those were his last words, which is pretty incredible. It says pioneer and icon, pharaoh, originator and legend, landmark, inventor, Hall of Famer, historian, incomparable man, is what it all says down here. A man who lived an abundant life and left a fruitful legacy. He sure did. And it looks like a lot of people from all over the world have been here to visit his gravesite. Right here, I don't want to really step up there, it says Ellis B. McDaniel. That's Ellis Bates McDaniel, a man with a heart for people. And it really sounds like Bo Diddley was actually a good man. He didn't really get caught up in the rock and roll lifestyle. It says he is a landmark etched in world history, inventor of the Bo Diddley beat, originator in rock and roll, pioneer in the music industry, an icon whose music influenced the world. Pharaoh, a man amongst men. His legend continues. And he was famous for that rectangular shaped guitar that provided that legendary sound. And if you look all around his gravesite, there's just rocks here that are left that say things on them. This was from somebody in Germany that came to visit. It says Manfred and Rosemary Paul, blues music lovers from Osnabrück, Germany. I'm probably not saying that right, but pretty incredible, you know, to have such a modest location to be laid to rest and be such a legend. And it's a beautiful little cemetery, but it is right off the road. So I imagine you could come at any time. It doesn't seem like there's hours of operation for this cemetery, so you can visit at any time. And over here, his mother and father. It says going fishing. Yep, they probably got the biggest fish in heaven. We're gonna go around and catch some of the rest of this cemetery. I'm gonna take some still shots of some of these beautiful monuments, and of course the legendary Bo Diddley. Because of the location of this cemetery and it being right close to the road, there's a lot of kind of noise coming from that, but it looks to be pretty old. Some of these older headstones are over here. Check it out and see how far back they go. That'll give us some idea as to when this cemetery was established. We got an Elias Walker, passed in 1929, and Phoebe Walker, 1921, laid to rest here. He was a Freemason. Yeah, it goes back quite a bit, quite a ways. Not real big, pretty small. We got Walker, the Walker family. There's a Sears family over there. Here's some more old headstones. Let's go look over here. Faircloth. That one looks interesting. And next to a veteran. Saul Osteen. Faircloth, 1878 to 1946. Wow. Royston Earl Walker, August 19th, 1909 to August 31st, 1936. Patrolman Walker had recently graduated from the 4-week academy. While on patrol in Cross City, Patrolman Walker stopped a vehicle for faulty headlight. Unknown to him, the driver and passenger had just committed a robbery. Patrolman Walker was escorting the suspects and vehicle to Dixie County Jail. While riding on the running board of the suspect vehicle, he was shot 7 times by the driver. Patrolman Walker returned fire, fatally wounding the driver. Patrolman Walker also died at the scene. Patrolman Walker had recently married and was the son of Levy County Sheriff Bob Walker. Patrolman Walker was the first Florida Highway Patrol trooper killed in the line of duty. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God, it says. Wow, that was wild. I was almost waiting for it to say it was like Bonnie and Clyde or something. I don't remember the exact dates that Bonnie and Clyde passed away, but this man passed in 1936. So it was somewhere around then. It was in the 20s or 30s, but I'm unsure. Usually you don't see that on a headstone, so I had to stop and read it. Oldest one so far, 1909. This says O.V. May. O-V-I-E, May. Looks like Merchant is the last name. Passed in 1909. And there again we have the hands. A welcoming into heaven, I believe, is what that means. And again over here. And look at these. These look even older. These are awesome. Wow. This says Augusta Emma Cox. I think it's Emma Cox. Born in London, England. September 16th, 1847. Died May 17th, 1918, age 70. Listen to the crows. Our crows over here just yapping away. Right here we have 1933. Died as he lived, a Christian. John Cox. Okay, I see what it is. It's not Emma Cox. It's Augusta Emma Cox. Because there's her husband, John Cox. But those are really neat. I love those headstones. I wish the crows would shut up for a minute. Or ravens. What? It's one of the blackbirds that's flying around here talking. Here's another Faircloth, and the other one's way over there, so this is a popular name in this cemetery, Faircloth. So if your name is Faircloth, you may have some family members laid to rest here in this cemetery, especially if they are from Florida and lived around the Bronson area. This Gerald's name is also a popular name here. There's actually a private cemetery that's all fenced in and gated right next door for the Gerald, and there's another name for those two families. This is another big name around here. This one is super cool with the statue up at the top. Just let's get a close look at that. Look how neat that is. That's just awesome. Like the features on it are so detailed. If you come down here, it's got an eagle. Michael S. Osteen. There's that name again, Osteen. There's an Osteen over there near Bo Diddley. So that is a common name in this cemetery. This is an Osteen plot. There's several of them here. It's got a little pasture there down at the bottom, it looks like, with deer. Erected in loving memory of my beloved husband who volunteered his services to his country. He fought and died so that we at home could remain and enjoy the comforts of freedom and freedom of America. No greater love has a man for his country than his life he laid down. Wow. That's awesome. And it's so true. Michael Stephen Osteen. March 20th, 1946 to May 5th, 1968. He's a Purple Heart recipient, Christian, a patriot, and a sportsman. That's very neat. I'm guessing the sport was hunting deer. Maybe he was a deer hunter. He's got guns there. I bet he was a hunter. That's awesome. I was reading online that the first burial that took place here was actually in 1903. So I haven't found that headstone yet, but it gives us an idea of about when the cemetery was established, since there's really no record of that I can find on the internet. So 1903 is pretty old. It's a historic cemetery, and a lot of the Bronson City pioneers are buried here, is what it does say. Now I did find some wrong information, and unless this is a different cemetery than the one they're talking about, it says that the last burial here took place 30 years ago, but Bo Diddley passed in 2008, so that's not quite accurate. You can't believe everything you find on the internet. Here's an Ulmer. Remember the Ulmers, Ulmerton Road? I wonder if he's any relation. Adolf and Margaret. And here's a little cute little plot here. La Roche. They got creative with this one. It's loosely managed here, so you're going to see a lot of fake plants. The grounds are a little rough. There's a lot of sand spurs and stickers that stick to your socks, so make sure that you're wearing some kind of, like I'm wearing a riding boot. Nothing sticks to them. So I'm wearing the right shoes for this cemetery. However, my husband took a stroll through one of the grassy areas, and he got sand spurs and stickers all over his socks and shoes, so you're going to want to watch out for that. Wear the right shoes. Other than that, it's a very cool historic cemetery, established in the early 1900s, or even prior to that may have been the first burial. You know how it goes with some of these historic cemeteries. There could have been burials here for 100 years before that. They just weren't marked. But the first marked burial is recorded as being 1903. It's very neat, historic. They're getting ready to get their own historic landmark sign for this cemetery. There's definitely some beautiful headstones to see here. Some different stuff, maybe something you haven't seen before. Over here is where I was telling you about. It says Robinson Gerald's Family Cemetery. So that Robinson and Gerald's cemetery has like 3 burials in it right now. But it's kind of like private and set aside on somebody's property for their own family, I think, is what it looks like. But there was a Gerald's over here in this public cemetery, so I don't know. Maybe the family was like, no, you do not get to come in. I don't know. Or maybe he just wanted to be buried in here. Who knows? Here we have a Noelito, Sheriff, Sergeant Noel Jr., Ramirez Beltran. We love you with all our hearts. You will never be forgotten. You're in our memories. You will live forever. God bless you. And here it says heroes live forever. He's got a basketball, football fan. He must have loved to work out. And there's a chessboard up there at the top with chess pieces. So he might have been a really good chess player, but he's very young. Very young. But that's a beautiful resting place there. And it looks like he's well loved. People come all the time. There's some fresh poinsettia here for him. And there is the Robinson Jarrells family cemetery that I was telling you about. It just kind of looks like and right next to it, a cow pasture. We're again out in the country, and there's only 3 resting places here that I could see. 3 headstones so far. It's a nice little private cemetery set aside with its own sign and everything. Looking very much like a ranch, a horse ranch. Look at this interesting marker. It's like got pebbles glued down to make the script. It's little pebbles that are somehow on there with, looks like maybe a dark cement, or it's weathered, I'm sure. Glued on with some kind of cement or mortar of some kind. You don't usually see that. Larry Osborne, 51 to 1980. And then over here, he's got a more, let's see, 1951 to 1980. So this is just something that they added here that someone made, it looks like. This has got a regular headstone right here. And then an angel baby, Michael Osborne, August 15th, 1975 to November 23rd, 1975. As I was saying before, this is a pretty small cemetery, but really cool headstones. Some of them are very old, just different, you know, as they all are. They all have their respective differences and are beautiful in their own way. And this one was no different. Bo Diddley was definitely a sight to see. If you're a big blues fan, you might want to get out here and check that out. He was really responsible for the incorporation of rock and roll into the blues music, and his iconic riffs made their way into a lot of music in the future. A lot of more bluesy musicians definitely looked up to him as a role model, and he definitely made his mark in this world. And it's worth coming over to visit to see him. Anyway, we're going to be getting out of the cemetery. My chariot awaits. Now we're headed over to the Sweetwater Inn, a haunted bed and breakfast that we've actually stayed in before, but I wasn't actually doing the channel yet, so we didn't get any footage in there. We'll just do a little walk around and, you know, see what it's like. We're here at the Sweetwater Branch Inn, where we have stayed before. This place is just beautiful. It's so well managed and just gorgeous. They got a real fire going. It's reminiscent of just something you'd see in St. Augustine, or, you know, it's just a really old building established in 1885. So look at this beautiful living room. There's a horse.
Our room must be down here somewhere.
Coming down the stairs. That's my husband. Isn't that pretty? thank you so much for joining me again today. I hope you loved today's episode. It was definitely surreal going to Bo Diddley's site because he's such a legend, and it's always fun to go and visit these very famous people's gravesite just to get a glimpse into their lives and maybe look up a little history on them. I learned a lot myself about Bo Diddley, and he's like one of my new favorite people. So we did stay at the Sweetwater Branch Inn. The building that we actually stayed in was not the haunted building. There's two other buildings, a blue building, which the second floor is haunted, and a yellow building, which the attic is haunted. So if you do want to stop by there and stay a night, you may want to stay in one of those buildings. We took what was available. We were last minute booking, and it was kind of a last minute decision. So we just took what we could get. But we had a great time. It was short and sweet, but it was fun. If you loved today's episode, please remember to like, subscribe, and share the video. And that does it for today's episode. I'll see you next time.